Santorum was the same person with the same policy positions, but his moment had passed. LoadingBernie Sanders, who officially declared his presidential candidacy on Tuesday, local time, is hoping the same fate does not befall him this election cycle. Recent U.S. history has shown it is difficult for presidential candidates to catch fire twice. Americans appreciate freshness in a president. Bill Clinton, George W. Bush, Obama and Donald Trump all won on their first attempt. Now Sanders, aged 77, is trying to break that trend. He has a track record of proving prognosticators wrong. In 2016 he shocked the country by defeating Hillary Clinton in 22 states and winning 46% of delegates to the Democratic Party convention. Few predicted that a curmudgeonly, white-haired socialist could prove so popular, especially among the young voters who flocked to his rallies wearing "Feel the Burn" t-shirts. Senator Bernie Sanders speaks at a news conference on Capitol Hill in Washington. Credit. This time around Sanders isn't an underdog but one of the top-tier candidates in a huge field of potential nominees. Many of his ideas, which only a few years ago seemed thrilling and radical to U.S. progressives, are now mainstream positions in the Democratic Party. Several of his rivals for the party's nomination also support Medicare for all, free public college and a $15 minimum wage. It's a sign of how successful Sanders has been in pushing the party to the left. But he could end up being a victim of his own success. His policies have become so normalized that they no longer set him apart. In 2016, Sanders was perfectly placed to hoover up the votes of Democrats who saw Clinton as the embodiment of the party's centrist establishment. Loading not being able to run as the anyone but Hillary candidate this time around will dilute his vote share. On the flip side, a bigger pool of candidates means he could score primary victories with only 30% of the vote or so. Sanders is certain to be the most left-wing candidate in the field, meaning he will remain a favorite choice of many progressive voters. And his campaign already has access to a huge database of supporters that he can tap for small donations. The big question is whether Sanders can appeal to non-white voters, especially African Americans. Clinton trounced Sanders, who comes from white-as-snow Vermont, among black primary voters last time. Loading is clearly aware of his need to win support among women and racial minorities. In a CBS interview announcing his candidacy, he quickly accused Donald Trump of peddling racism, sexism and xenophobia. A December poll by Suffolk University found that 36% of Democrats and independents would be excited if Sanders ran for president again. But even more, 41%, thought he shouldn't run, a higher number than for any other potential candidate except for Hillary Clinton. Asked who they wanted to be the Democratic candidate, most of those polled responded, someone entirely new. If that sentiment holds, then Sanders will again miss out on the nomination, even if his policy ideas prevail.